today, I want to go even deeper into identity because I believe that identity is a very important foundation for anything we want to do in life or for any kind of person we want to be in life. Identity is basically what dictates everything we do, how we think of ourselves, how we see ourselves, the lens through which we see people, the lens through which we approach anything that we do in life. That identity is key. And there are different levels of identity. There is the deepest level, which is something that is connected to your spirit. And then there is when you roll it up a couple of layers up to the surface, there is also identity that comes with, what beliefs, what values, what tenets you agree with or that you conform to. So let me start with this. I'm going to start and I'm going to talk about the different ways things that people draw their identity from and the problem with that. One thing to know before I even go into that is there are only so many great sources of identity, right? And that is why it's not identities. It is identity. It is one. At the end of the day, when you boil it down, it comes down to just one. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day and I was telling him how my coach, yes, I have a coach and you should get one too. And I'm a coach too. Imagine that. Everybody needs a coach. Back to the conversation. So I was telling him how I felt when my coach asked me, do you know who you are? And he was like, well, Kepo, that he kind of brushed off like, that's kind of like asking, what is life? It's so nebulous and, almost fluffy, right? What is life? And I said, no, I disagree. At the end of the day, who are you without your accolades, without your promotions, without your job titles, without your job experiences, without the businesses you've built or plan to build, without all these other life experiences you have? Can you describe who you are without any of that? Without your physical attributes? Can you? I mean, if you can, then you're already onto something. But stick with me. A lot of times we get our identity from fleeting things that are likely to change. Some things are not even in our own power. We draw our identity from that. I know, for example, the culture in North America, I'm calling it out. The very big part of the culture is people draw their identity from their work, from the job they do and how much of it they do, how much they grind. Oh, I'm an iBanker. I pull 100 hours of work a week. I don't understand why that is something to be proud of, but to each his own. But who are you without that job? Who are you without your worldly possessions? Can you define that? Because if you can't even define that, everything else you're trying to build is not standing on solid ground. That identity is shaky. It can change at any moment based on your whim, based on how you're feeling that day, based on what someone said to you and how they made you feel. Some other things that people build their identity from are the things they own. A lot of times, sometimes when you really think about it, maybe sometimes when you buy, maybe let's say a particular brand in clothing or shoes, ask yourself, would I buy this brand? Would I spend all this money on this jacket, on this pair of shoes, this belt, this shirt, this summer set? Would I spend that much if I were living in a place where no one knew me and I'm totally anonymous? The answer to that would tell you why you're actually buying that thing. And even more, it would tell you where you're drawing your identity from. For some of us, for some people, how they dress, the brands they wear is where they draw their identity from. When they think of themselves as, oh, I'm that person. I'm a fashionista or GQ guy. And I always dress nice. I always look good. And when people see me in my Gucci or whatever it is, my lubes, they have a certain level of respect for me. And I want them to see me as that person that has money, has class. Money can buy class, but another conversation for another day. Someone who has good taste, money can't buy taste either. Another conversation for another day. But you catch my drift. Some people draw identity from that. But then what happens if they're broke? What happens if, God forbid, we catch them on a day where they're just wearing a regular t-shirt from Target? What happens if for some reason they travel and their baggage didn't arrive? What happens then? Your baggage is full of all your designer stuff and you're going to this function. All of a sudden, you can't function because, oh my gosh, my expensive suits, that cute dress, those Versace shoes or sandals that I really wanted to wear, that was going to make a statement and tell them who I am. Listen to the language. Listen to how we talk to ourselves, who I am. Those things, those labels, I don't have them with me. So how will I be? I'll be stranded. Some people might even skip the entire experience, the whole event together, simply because their designer outfits did not arrive with them. And if that's not your vice, think of what yours is. What is the material thing that you are drawing your identity from? Is that enough? And hear me out. I am not telling you to change that if that is what is working for you. If that is what is working for you, continue. Please, this is not for you if drawing your full identity of who you are from your worldly possessions and designer outfits or whatever is working well for you. But for the rest of us, we found that, okay, that doesn't work for us. This is for you. Maybe it's time to change that narrative in our brains and actually look deeper beyond these things that can catch fire at any time, of which that actually did happen to me. A few weeks ago, I was hosting a friend and I was warming up food and my denim shirt actually caught fire. She had to jump from where she was sitting across the island to the sink to help me rinse it off. Like crazy. So they can burn at any time, literally, or you can lose them in a flood, or they get lost in transit. What then? Who are you then?